Reactions trail arraignment of end bad governance protesters deemed as minors in court. Troops arrest wanted cross-border terrorists Habu Dogo in Sokoto. Federal government releases funds for NASU salaries, retirees benefits. On the foreign scene, United Nations chief condemns Sudan's RSF, that is the Rapid Support Forces, Britain to push for Security Council action. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news updates. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us. Now, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi has taken over the case of the hashtag End Bad Governance protesters arraigned in the Federal High Court Abuja on Friday. The protesters, who are 76 in number, between the ages of 12 and 15, were charged with 10 counts of terrorism, an attempt to overthrow the government, and alleged mutiny over their participation in the nationwide protest. The arraignment has since generated backlash from civil society organizations and opposition leaders who condemned the detention and prosecution of minors. They asked the government to quickly look into the matter and resolve it. In a statement on Friday night, the AGF admitted that he is aware of the case, but said there are some issues his office will need to look into regarding the matter to enable him take an informed decision. He said it is not within his power to vary the order of the court, remanding the defendants in detention centers and adjourning the case to January. He, however, noted that he has directed the Nigerian police to transfer the case file to his office and hand over same to the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation on Saturday. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has stated that the fainting by 6 hashtag End Bad Governance protesters in court before their arraignment was a deliberate act scripted to attract negative attention. Egbetokun stressed, however, that medical assistance was promptly provided, underscoring the police's commitment to the welfare of individuals in their custody. On Friday, 76 suspects, mostly minors who appeared malnourished, were arraigned in connection with the hashtag End Bad Governance protest. 6 of them collapsed and were rushed out of the courtroom. Following the arraignment, the court granted each minor bail set at 10 million naira. The incident has sparked criticism both domestically and internationally. In a statement dated November 1 and signed by a force spokesperson, Muyiwa Adejobi, on behalf of the IGP, Egbetokun affirmed that under Nigerian law, individuals who have reached the age of criminal responsibility are accountable for their actions regardless of their age. He urged citizens not to show any form of bias in the case, assuring that the police would remain transparent throughout the legal process. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi have also reacted by condemning the retention and prosecution of some minors for allegedly participating in the hashtag End Bad Governance protest. They were brought by the Nigerian police for arraignment on Friday, with some of them fainting before Obiari Gwatu of the Federal High Court in Abuja. The suspects, 76 in number, aged between 12 and 15, were charged with 10 counts of terrorism, an attempt to overthrow the government, and alleged mutiny over their participation in the nationwide protest. Justice Egwatu granted bail to 7 of the 76 minors that were arraigned to the tune of 10 million naira each. They were allegedly arrested on August 3rd and had since been in detention before their appearance in court. Reacting to the incident in separate statements on their respective X-handles, both Atiku and Obi described it as disturbing. The ex-vice president said he finds it, quote, reprehensible that a man who claims to have fought for Nigeria's democracy and had led protests now demonizes those who decide to demonstrate against the effects of his harsh and draconian policies, end of quote. On his part, the 2023 presidential candidate of Labour Party and ex-Anambra Governor Peter Obi called on the Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of the Federation, the police and the DSS, as well as the National Human Rights Commission, to thoroughly investigate such, quote, inhuman treatment of minors to avert such incidents in the future, end of quote. Former presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Kwankwaso, has expressed shock over the arraignment of minors who participated in the End Bad Governance protest. Writing on his X page, Kwankwaso said the minors were obviously malnourished and need medical attention, have been subjected to a cruel experience when they should be in school. According to him, the arraignment of such a number of minors is highly unusual and negates every tenet of the protection of human rights and dignity. He called on the federal government to face the challenges of banditry, kidnapping, Boko Haram, lack of stable electricity, and excruciating economic policies, rather than putting children behind bars. Kwankwaso noted that Section 11 of the Child Rights Act of 2003 protects the dignity of every child and protects them from any physical, mental, or emotional injury, abuse, neglect, or maltreatment. He requested the relevant authorities to immediately review their charges so that they can go back to their families and be responsible citizens. Meanwhile, the senator representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, Natasha Akpoti-Udohan, has strongly condemned the detention of minors involved in the recent #EndBadGovernance protest, describing it as inhumane and unjust. She called on the Chief Justice of the Federation, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun, to investigate the detention order granted by Justice Obiora Egwuatu of the Federal High Court. According to Akpoti-Udohan, detaining minors in a medium correctional facility is wrong and violates their fundamental human rights. In a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the lawmaker, Aronolu Israel, on Saturday, Natasha emphasized that children should be tried in a juvenile court and their identities protected, not displayed or published in court. The senator also urged the controller of prisons, Haliru Nababa, to investigate the detention conditions of juveniles at the Kuje prisons, citing malnourishment and improper facilities. She stressed that Kuje Medium Security Custodian Center is not designed for detaining children, adding that juvenile correctional facilities should be used instead. The Nigerian Army says troops in the northwest have arrested a notorious terrorist leader known as Abubakar Ibrahim, also known as Habu Dogo, during the week. A statement signed by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Edward Buba, on Saturday said the development was a feat achieved in the ongoing counterinsurgency and counter-terrorism operations, which have continued to degrade the combat capacity of terrorists across the country. Habu Dogo, wanted terrorist on the watch list of security agencies both in Nigeria and in the Niger Republic due to his cross-border terrorist activities, was arrested in Rumji village in the Ilela local government area of Sokoto State. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, on Friday handed over the freed medical doctor Ganiat Popola and her nephew to her family. The handover ceremony for the National Eye Center Kaduna doctor was done in the presence of the President of the Nigerian Medical Association, Dr. Bala Audu, for rehabilitation and reintegration following a comprehensive security debriefing. Attended by the representatives from the Defense Headquarters, Ministry of Health, Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, and the National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, the ceremony provided an opportunity for security personnel to highlight the efforts made to secure Dr. Ganiat's release. They also discussed related operations, including the recent rescue of abducted medical students. The family extended their appreciation to the federal government, NMA, NARD, and all Nigerian doctors for their unwavering support during this challenging time. Dr. Popola, a registrar in the Department of Ophthalmology at the National Eye Center, was abducted alongside her husband, Nuruddin Popola, who was a military officer, and her nephew, Folarami Abdul Mogni, who lives with them. The federal government has released funds to settle outstanding salaries owed to members of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Federal Universities and pay benefits to retirees under the Nigerian Union of Pensioners Contributory Pension Scheme. In a statement on Saturday by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Bawa Mokwa, the FG confirmed that payments to NASU members have commenced, with many already confirming receipt. The OAGF reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to the welfare of Nigerian workers and retirees. On Monday, the Joint Action Committee of SANU and NASU embarked on an indefinite strike over its 4 months of withheld salary. Since then, activities have been grounded in universities across the country. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, and the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation and Aerospace Technology have reaffirmed government's commitment to a transparent and thorough inquiry into the accident involving the Sikorsky SK-76 helicopter in order to improve transport safety in Nigeria. The chopper carrying oil workers crashed last Thursday after leaving Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Officials said 5 bodies of the 8 passengers and crew members had been recovered so far. In an updated statement, the Director of Public Affairs and Family Assistance, Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, Bimbo Oladeji, said the Director General of the NSIB, Captain Alex Bade Jr., and the Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation and Aerospace Technology, Abiodu Akinlade, who visited the accident site to oversee the progress of recovery and investigation operations on behalf of the government, would ensure transparent and thorough inquiry into the accident. During the visit, the statement said both Captain Bade Jr. and Akinlade received updates from the multidisciplinary search and recovery team. The officials were briefed on recovery progress as well as investigative procedures, examining environmental factors, safety protocols, and technical variables. Now, the Oyo-Osun Command of the Nigerian Customs Service says it has ramped up sustained effort aimed at curbing the menace of smuggling and other illegal activities that undermine the economy. Area Comptroller for the command, Ben Oramalugo, stated this in Ibadan during an interactive session where the customs leadership there also promised to synergize with other sister agencies to rid the society of drug use and abuse, as well as the proliferation of fake and substandard pharmaceutical products. Our correspondent has more details in this report.
This is another remarkable achievement of the Oyo-Osun Command of the Nigerian Customs Service. Between August 30th and October 29, 2024, the command made significant strides in revenue generation and anti-smuggling efforts.
And I'm sure you must have seen a lot of reforms in Nigeria Customs. More revenue. Well, Nigeria Customs has a target of about 5 trillion. We already collected more than 3 point something trillion. Yes. In Oyo, we have 141 billion. Yes. We have even collected more than 60%. As I'm talking to you this month alone, we have collected 7 billion.
The command also achieved significant milestones in its revenue collection drive and anti-smuggling efforts. In addition to generating over 18.07 billion naira in revenue between June 14 and August 29, 2024, the command successfully curbed illegal cross-border activities. The Customs Comptroller also handed over substances suspected to be cannabis sativa to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, where it has reiterated its tough stance against drug abuse.
As we also are aware, cannabis are hand drugs that are destroying Nigerian society. Our children that are supposed to be the future of Nigeria, most of them are indulged in these hard drugs. It is spread that 2 out of 7 Nigerians are addicted to drugs between the ages of 15 and 65 years. Children that are supposed to be future of tomorrow, they are all engaged in drugs.
One of the regulatory actions is destruction, public destruction, that will be taking place very soon, and you will be involved, you'll be invited or informed, because we don't want it re-injected into the system. If we don't destroy them, if we just dispose them carelessly, it can be re-injected. And so the effort of custom in seizing them will be compromised if we don't handle it according to regulatory procedure for the destruction.
We are doing a very tremendous effort, because when you look at it, drug abuse is a global problem. It's not a Nigerian only. So NDLA is doing every effort through sensitization operations that we carry out in order to prosecute the producer. We see people that are using drugs as somebody that is sick. that need help.
The Oyo Osun Command also urged members of the public to continue to support the command's efforts by providing timely information and cooperation to combat the challenges posed by smugglers and economic saboteurs.
To more stories, over in Kaduna State, the governor, Obasani, has advised elected local government chairmen to distribute dividends of democracy equitably without prejudice to political affiliation, gender, religious beliefs or ethnic background. The governor will give the advice at the swearing-in ceremony of the chairman on Friday and join them to be transparent and accountable in the handling of public finances. According to him, local government chairmen are grassroots leaders who are closest to the people and as such should be the people's voices, advocates and champions. The governor implored the chairman to provide rural infrastructure, boosting agriculture, building and upgrading health centers and primary schools, enhancing economic and social services and ensuring sustainable natural resource use. Governor Obasani also enjoined them to align with the state government's rural transformation agenda and link up communities not covered by state roads. Still in Kaduna, the opposition party, People's Democratic Party, has vowed to challenge the validity of the October 19th local government elections across the state in the court. The party condemned what it described as the clandestine swearing-in of the 23 local government council chairmen in the state by Governor Obasani. PDP said the exercise was a sham and a shame and an attack on the nation's democracy. Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission, KADSEICOM, had declared candidates of the All Progressives Congress APC winners of the O23 championship and 255 councillorship seats in the state. KADSEICOM chairman Hajara Muhammad announced the result in Kaduna. However, the PDP made its position known on Friday in a statement signed by Maria Dogo, its publicity secretary, and made available to newsmen in Kaduna. Herbs are beneficial for the body, contributing to its overall health and maintenance. However, the methods of preparation and consumption varies. Despite its ancient origins, herbs and roots medicine remains a significant source of income for many in our society today. Here's more in this report.
Agbo is a traditional herbal medicine that have been practiced since the time of our forefathers. It is derived from various plants and leaves. This herbal traditional medicine is divided into several forms, such as herbalism, divination, and spiritualism. Herbalism, according to herbal practitioners, involves the use of various herbs and leaves to treat different diseases and support human health.
Our grandfather was a practitioner. My father is a practitioner. And I still grew up to practice the same business, let me call it. And as far as I can know, when I begin to practice independently, could be running to 40 years now. And when I say 40 years, I mean when I left home for only this practice, and I make my living through this practice of herbal medications.
This one now, together with this, is for a child that does not work well, maybe a lazy type child. A child that reach 2 or 1 years plus and cannot walk. So this is the one we can use for that child. This one I'm holding, you will boil it. And these leaves I'm holding, I'll plug the leaf and I will grind it. After grinding it, I will mix it with this soap. They will be using it to bath the child.
Of specialization are talking about bone disease, blood disease, and vein disease. So, and this, some persons might call the vein disease rheumatism and arthritis. You can relate both to either bone disease or vein disease. But anything that has to do with your vein, your bone, and your blood is what I in particular deal with.
Despite advancements in modern medicine, many in our society today still believe and prefer to use herbal remedies for their ailments. Other herbal practitioners speak on how they are solving social problems with herbs.
I inherited from my dad because it's our family's work. My father inherited from his own mother. So I was born inside it. I was born into apps and roots, and I've been into it like this. Like I should not exaggerate. Like 20 years.
So the herbal medicine is very good. It's powerful. So that is the only important thing I want to try to tell you. Any person, if you are giving the person medicine now, give am the time when the medicine will start to work. So all the medicine, our medicine now, so e don dey okay. No be say this one no, everything don change.
This is Ibas that works for typhoid and malaria. You take it for 3 days, morning, afternoon, evening. But afternoon is not necessary, but morning and evening is necessary.
Herbal medicine practitioners says their work have provided them a good source of income, allowing them to support their families and employ others into the practice.
Let's get to business, where the Nigerian Ports Authority says 2 vessels with 14,766,400 litres of premium motor spirit, popularly known as PMS, arrived at Tinkan Island ports in Lagos State on Friday. NPA said that 10 vessels with different commodities, including used vehicles, would arrive at the port between November 1 and 8, 2024. The NPA, in its daily shipping position, said 3 out of the 10 vessels expected within this period will be coming with vehicles. NPA mentioned the 2 vessels will be coming with 600 units of used vehicles, while 1 vessel would come with 600 units of new vehicles. It stated that the remaining 5 vessels would come with different consignments, including AGO, that is diesel, containers, and bulk wheat. Away from Nigeria, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Friday condemned reported attacks on civilians by Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces, as Britain said it would push for a UN Security Council resolution on the more than 18-month-long conflict. War erupted in mid-April 2023 from a power struggle between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces ahead of a planned transition to civilian rule and triggered the world's largest displacement crisis. The current war has produced waves of ethnically driven violence blamed largely on the RSF. The RSF has allegedly killed at least 124 people in a village in El Gezira state last month, activists said in one of the conflict's deadliest incidents. The RSF has accused the army of arming civilians in Gezira. The RSF has previously denied harming civilians in Sudan and attributed the activity to rogue actors. Britain, which assumed the presidency on Friday of the Security Council for November, said the 15-member body would meet on Sudan on November 12 to discuss scaling up aid delivery and ensuring greater protection of civilians by all sides. And in sports, Abia Warriors goalkeeper Ali Ishaku has revealed the key to the team's recent impressive performance. Ishaku said the confidence built on the player by head coach Imama Amampakabo was the reason for their improved performance. Abia Warriors have recorded 3 wins from their last 4 games in the league. The Umuahia-based club are 5th on the Nigerian Premier Football League NPFL table with 14 points. They will battle with Heartland in an Oriental Derby clash at the Umuahia Township Stadium on Sunday. And that brings to a wrap news update at this time. For more news programs and documentaries, do also follow us on our social media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon.